Hey, everybody. So happy to see you today. And we are talking about something interesting, our senses. You have five senses. And Barry, I bet you know what they are.
We have the sense of hearing, sight, smell, touch, and taste.
That's true.
Those are the five.
So I think it's super cool that we have our senses and also how we can experience spirit or God through our senses. So do you have any examples that might work for that?
Well, I think the thing that's cool is we can't really see God, but we can see the effects of God in the world, I think, and we can experience the effects of God in the world. And so the wind is like that. You can't really see the wind, but you can see the way the wind affects the trees, and you can hear the sound of the ocean. You know, when you're by the ocean, you have this sound that you just drop into. And I think that spirit is like that too. And our sense of taste. You know, I could explain to you what an apple tastes like and tell you all about what apples taste like. But when you take one bite out of an apple, you know exactly what that feeling is. And so I think that's a way that we experience spirit, and also through kindness. When we experience someone being kind to us, or when we're kind to someone else, when we're out in the world and we see people being kind to each other, it's like we can feel spirit showing up there too.
Yeah, I love the idea of that, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're tasting, what we're feeling, that all of those things are ways that we're experiencing spirit and experiencing God. But there is one more sense, the heart sense, which is another very cool sense to go with our five senses. So, the heart sense obviously is about our heart. So what do you know about our heart, Barry?
Well, I know it's about here, and it pumps blood in our body, right, and keeps us healthy. We want to have a healthy heart, and that's why we exercise. So our heart is healthy and keeps our blood pumping everywhere. But also we think of heart, and people have always thought about heart as feelings, like where we experience love or where we experience kindness or compassion, or like I can feel that in my heart when I have a sense of love for somebody or caring for somebody. So we associate love and feeling with the heart as well.
Yeah, I think the heart is definitely about love, but all of these other feelings also. And it turns out that the heart is actually very smart. So right here is where your heart is, and sometimes you can feel your heartbeat either by touching here, or sometimes on your neck right here, or on your wrist. A lot of times if you go to the doctor, they'll take your pulse. All of those things are ways to feel your heartbeat, and your heartbeat goes up and down depending on what's going on. If you go outside and you run around the yard and you run around the yard and you run around the yard and come back in, your heart is going to be beating really fast. The same thing happens if maybe you get nervous or you get scared, your heart will also beat fast. And then the opposite is true. If you're feeling really happy or really grateful, your heartbeat slows way down. So your brain, right, is where you typically think about feelings getting generated, and then your brain is telling your heart what to do. But we just said the heart is actually smart, and they've now learned that your heart can know your feelings even before your brain does. So there's a group called the Heart Math group, and they did all these studies. And what they would do is they would hook people up to some machines that would measure what their brain was doing and what their heart was doing. And then they would show them all of these different pictures. And some of the pictures were happy, some of the pictures were exciting, some of the pictures were sad, some of the pictures were scary. They didn't know what picture was coming next. The screen would go blank and then the picture would come up. What they found was the heart would speed up if it was going to be a scary picture before the picture even came on the screen. So how smart is your heart that it knew what was going to happen even before you could see it and your brain could process it. So instead of the brain telling the heart what to do, the heart can also tell the brain what to do. And I think that's great, because if you are feeling nervous or scared or concerned, you can actually tell things to yourself, to your heart, that can shift how you're feeling. So you can say, you know what? I think I'm putting some happiness into my heart, or I'm putting some gratitude into my heart, or some kindness into my heart. And that will actually slow your heartbeat down. Have you ever heard of this before, Barry?
Yeah, I have, and I love it because I think our heart is smart. I think our heart is wise. One of the things I love to do too when people are learning how to meditate is to sit down, to just meditate for a couple minutes, to take your pulse before you meditate, and then to take your pulse after meditating for 5 minutes. And it's going to be slower because we just relax and we fall into our heart. And I think of God as like the one heart. We talk of oneness a lot, and I think God is the one heart. We all get to share in God's heart, and our hearts are all connected and wired together in a way, and we get to share in that great big love that's everywhere, and our heart is a part of that. And I think that idea is really good. My heart is smart. I'm going to remember that. My heart is smart.
My heart is smart. All right, so you have your 5 senses. You also have your heart sense. Some people might even call that your God sense or your spirit sense. And Barry has a great song about that place in your heart.
I think Stacy got all of her ideas today from this song, so she might have been listening. This is called The Place in Your Heart. Children, here we are, we find ourselves together for a little while, and nothing feels so fine as these golden moments when we all smile. And when you lay your head down, I want your mind to be at ease, and you can have that feeling anytime you please. 'Cause there's a place in your heart where you can go. If things get confusing or you're feeling low, go to that place in your heart and you'll know what's right and wrong, if you're weak or strong, which way you should go. Your mom and dad, you know they sure do love you. They'd like to teach you all the things you need as you grow. But there'll be times you'll have to make your own decisions. And it will help you if you always know that there's a place in your heart where you can go. If things get confusing or you're feeling low, or when you just don't know, go to that place in your heart and you'll know what's right and wrong, if you're weak or strong, which way you should go. There's a place in your heart where you can go. There's a place in your heart where you can go. There's a place in your heart where you can go. There's a place in your heart where you can go.
Thank you, Barry. I'm so
You're
glad
welcome.
there's a place in my heart that I can go. And I'm going to leave you with an affirmation. I can change my heart and change my feelings. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. So long.